everybody, and welcome to Springer Stadium in Avon, Ohio, site of the Mid-American Conference Baseball Tournament. I'm on assignment here. We'll have coverage of the MAC Baseball Tournament for you next week on More Sports and Less Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. Tournament goes through the weekend. This week, some big news with the Cleveland Browns, though. The Browns will host the 2021 NFL Draft. There was a bid with Cleveland and Canton back a couple of years ago. That is not the case. It is just Cleveland and the Browns. They get the 2021 draft, so big news for the Browns and the Haslam family. Also on the field, organized team activities, session 2 wrapped up, and really it was the first time that Browns fans got to hear from the coordinators. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken, a guy that interviewed for a couple of head coaches' jobs, is an offensive guru. The big question of Todd Monken is, how will he get along with Freddie Kitchens, and what will his role be as offensive coordinator of the Browns?
Well, first, he was a big reason why I wanted to come. You know, when I interviewed, not only Baker being here in the young roster, but I really felt like we meshed as offensive philosophy and then how we're both wired. So in terms of, you know, we coach for the players. I mean, that's why we have a job for our players, and I think Freddie believes that. And I always want to coach for someone that recognizes we have a job for our players and putting the players first. So, and it's been good so far, and I don't anticipate that to be different. You know, my job is to do whatever Freddie asks me. That's the job of any assistant coach, is to, everybody asks what's your role. Your role is exactly what the head coach asks you to do. I don't care what role you have on this field. It can be from one of the managers to one of the equipment managers to one of the trainers to the coaches. Whatever the head coach asks you to do, you do.
My follow in that tack was, in terms of voices in Mayfield's head, you guys, I mean, you, of course, nobody wants to have too many voices in somebody's ear. Or is that something you talk through, or just kind of feel your way through giving him the right amount of input?
I think it's all the above. I think you've always got potentially a head coach, a coordinator, and a position coach that are going to be in his ear, that will talk about some things. I try not to, you know, I try to listen as much as anything. I think Ryan Lindley does a tremendous job in there. I'm in there every day with the quarterbacks, and I think he's on point. And so I only make comments when I feel necessary, and Freddie's in there at times. And so at this point, you know, we're building what we want the offense to be, and we'll go from there.
Todd, word came out this morning, I guess the league is going to ban things like the Oklahoma drill, King of the Hill, and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on that? How big of a deal is it? How many teams have you seen do that kind of stuff?
I don't know what they're banning, but those two drills I really don't see much of anymore. You know, you just don't see much of the, okay, toughness drill, line up a guy in front of each other, and, you know, so I really don't know. And again, most of the things that occur in this league, they've never asked me. So in the end, it's whatever it is that they do, then we coach it, and it's for everybody. So that's the best thing. Is it's not like our ownership group is saying, hey, you can't do Oklahoma drill. If we can't do it, then nobody can do it. It's the way it is.
How much of your thumbprint is on this offense, or will be on this offense?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, do I think all of our coaches on offense, their thumbprints on it? I mean, I would hope so. I would hope that all of our coaches feel free to have had input, and they have. There's been different pieces of what we've done that everybody has added from the start or has tweaked as we go along, and that's a good sign where you have a number of guys that can have input into what you do on a weekly basis. I think it builds a better staff when everybody has a piece of it, as opposed to, hey, here's what we're doing, and you lay it out for somebody. So that's what I liked about when I met Freddie.
With that, how much different will this offense look than the last 8 games last year?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say because we haven't gotten to that point yet. We're just installing, and we aren't really game planning yet. And in the end, that's really on Freddie, because in the end, everybody has ideas, but someone has to make the decision, right? I mean, there's a lot of idea guys. I'll be one of them. You know, I mean, we have ideas of what we want to be able to run and what we like against a certain opponent, but then eventually the guy that calls it, or the head coach or the coordinator, has to make that decision. So at this point, it's hard to say. But obviously, I think what they did last year, and it's part of why I wanted to be a part of it. So,
Todd, is there something that's been maybe a pleasant surprise for you coming here?
Pleasant surprise. I don't know. Certainly not the weather. So outside of that, it wasn't that for sure. I don't think I have a pleasant surprise
I was just
yet.
thinking maybe in terms of making adjustment to a new group.
Yeah, I don't know. This is. I mean, this is the honeymoon stage. I mean, it's, it never gets any better than this, right? I mean, it's, you take over a new program, you're the new person. I mean, everything's better, everything's great. Never gets better than the honeymoon stage. It's the same in Tampa. It was our fault in Tampa, so that's the honeymoon stage there. It's the way this business works.
What do you like about this job so far?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, that I'm employed. I mean, that Freddie thought enough of me to hire me, so that's a big part of it. I mean, you're out of work, wondering where the hell you're going to coach at. So, but there's a lot of things. There's a lot of positives moving forward. That's why I wanted to be here. It's hard to explain them all, and so now it's about doing it better than they do it and finding a way to win. So.
With Baker having so much experience in air raid and you having so much experience in air raid, is that something that you are really eager to incorporate into this offense, and do you see a big opportunity to use it?
Oh, the air raid uses very similar concepts that everybody uses. It's really kind of more of a philosophy of being simple and doing it better than they do it. And so that's a big part of it, repetition. So I think there is something to that, but I don't think that from an air raid philosophy standpoint, I mean, do I think he likes to go fast and play in the no huddle and be in shotgun? Yes. Do I like that? Yes. Will that transfer over? I don't. We're not there yet.
What are your early impressions of Nick?
Again, hard to say. I really like Nick. We brought Nick in for one of our 30 visits in Tampa. We really liked him there. So I think he's a powerful downhill back, one-cut guy that you see on tape. But right now it's hard to evaluate Nick or appreciate Nick in shorts. He's one of those guys you got to appreciate in pads.
Is John Dorsey or anybody in the front office asked you about Gerald McCarthy?
They've asked me about Gerald, yes.
What'd you say?
What'd you say? I'll keep that to myself. I think a lot of Gerald. Okay, I just said I'd keep it to myself, then I said something about Gerald. So I think a lot of Gerald. Gerald, has had a tremendous career and was an outstanding football player for us. And he's a great person. So I won't comment anything else about it. I know I can because he's a free agent and they've let him go. But other than that, there were some other things that we talked about but I like Gerald a lot.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. Welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon on assignment in Avon at the Mid-American Conference Baseball Tournament. More Browns news, though. The biggest thing that fans want to know is, what will Steve Wilkes' defense be like? That'll be the biggest question and could potentially be the biggest factor in how successful the Browns will be. How good will their defense be? The question of Steve Wilkes is, how do you find leaders on defense?
It's always hard to say, when you try to identify certain leaders, you say, oh, Miles is a leader, Denzel's a leader, just because they're star players. Well, Jermaine Whitehead is a leader in my opinion. So you don't have to be that quote-unquote guy that everybody looks at. So I want all those guys to be leaders when they're out there on the field because we need everybody communicating and talking and being on the same page.
Why do you say that about Whitehead?
Extremely smart, very intelligent, takes control when he's out there. All right, know how to really communicate and articulate the defense and get everybody on the same page.
How would a guy who maybe hasn't had all that many opportunities in his career yet in Jermaine be able to go out and show that right now? Are you surprised at all that maybe he's showing?
Not surprised at all. He's been in the league for a while. He's been on several teams, so it just shows who he is as an individual. He puts a lot of time into his craft. He studies the game a lot, and it really shows out on the field.
It might be hard to see without the pads on, but with the addition of Olivier Vernon, how has Miles Garrett's game changed? Have you noticed a difference in not having as much pressure on him with somebody on the other side?
Not so much, and it's very hard to determine right now. As you just mentioned, we don't have pads on. I like the addition, with Sheldon as well. I think those two guys are going to be great for us. Their presence in the room, not only on the field, is definitely shown up thus far. Does it take some pressure off of Miles? Maybe it does. I don't know yet. We have to wait and see. But I know those guys are going to be a major factor, either making plays or allowing Miles to make plays.
Looking at the overall capability of your group and the talent you have at your disposal to execute what you want done, how are you doing in terms of frontline talent and depth?
I think we're making progress. When you really look at where we were on April the 1st, all right, and how we started out just really with phase 1, phase 2, you have seen the development and growth of a lot of guys. Depth, we're always looking for depth. I think you saw that with the draft and the number of guys that we picked up. So that's always going to be important because you're going to have injuries throughout the year, and that's why it's so important as a staff that we really develop those young guys.
What do you see who's taking a lead in that battle for strong safety?
Oh, it's still open. It's still too early to really determine that. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to be able to get in there and showcase their talent and perform. So right now, we're just really trying to lay a great foundation. All right, really the fundamentals and technique of the position. Those guys doing a good job of really picking up the system. So again, it's too early to determine who's going to be the starters.
What did you see out of Greedy before you guys drafted him, and then how has he been in the first couple of days out here?
Well, number one, he's long, he's athletic. This game right now, you talk about look at the different receivers and the types that we have for his big body. So I love long corners. He's definitely that, very athletic, can run, and he's very physical, and that's important in the run game with me, that our corners tackle. So again, we don't have pads on right now, but you can see that athleticism out there on the field and the way he moves around.
When you say you love corners to tackle, I mean, that was, some people criticized that about him when he was at LSU. Have you talked to him a lot about that?
Not a lot, but he made it aware that, that he's not afraid to tackle. He just needs to understand the technique and how to do it, So that's encouraging because, again, I always say the identity of our defense is not really how physical our front seven plays, but really how our secondary, most importantly, how our corners tackle.
How, on that, how much emphasis do you put on tackling technique? Because a lot of corners just don't use their arms, they just try and knock the guy down.
I think you have to really, that's a fine. I think you really have to be able to teach the guys the different technique and the fundamentals, understanding exactly where their help is, all right, within that particular play. I know Denzel last year had a situation where we come in and throw his body around a little bit, which resulted into some concussions. So we really got to teach these guys how to tackle.
Do you feel like you're in a race from the standpoint, there are staffs out there that you'll face this year that have been intact for a while on, you're facing experienced offensive coordinating staff. Do you feel like you're in a race because you're in your first year installing here?
No, not at all. Again, I think it's about layers on your defense, layers on the team. Freddie's done a good job of really setting the tone, the expectations, and really implementing the plan, not only with the coaches but the players. So I'm very confident in where we are right now and the direction in which we're going. The players are doing a great job picking up the system and executing.
Steve, specifically on Jermaine again, how is he or how could he fit in schematically with what you'd like to do defensively?
Again, he's a guy that's very smart, that can play multiple positions. All right, so you put yourself in a situation when guys get hurt, it's just really plug and play with him. So it's still early to determine, all right, but I like what he's doing. Most importantly, his leadership.
How much would you like to have the option during the season of having three safeties that you trust to put on the field at the same time?
Well, I think the word that you use is trust, and that really goes with any position. But, you know, where the game is today and how they try to spread you out quite a bit, you like to have the option to be able to put those guys on the field, so therefore you're a little bit more athletic in space.
When we first met you, you raved about Jabril Peppers. Obviously, you thought he's versatile and fit really well in your scheme, and he was traded. Does Whitehead give you some of those same traits that you really liked? That you know, a chess piece you can move around that? Is that I guess, was the door opened a little bit that way?
It is, I would say that. When you really look at the position, as the question just before you talked about, you know, offense trying to spread you out, trying to get you into a situation and really trying to create that matchup with the linebacker. So you like to be able to try to put more athletic guys on the field in regards to another safety. So Whitehead does give you that option, but again, it's still early to determine that.
Steve, last year these guys really look good on defense. What are your areas of concern maybe this year that you want to tighten up?
I think number one, we got to do a much better job of not tackling. I know that was an issue of concern last year, and I would say this too. This is a pass-happy league, but we got to stop the run, and gap integrity is going to be extremely important to us. I've said it over and over again, there's nothing more demoralizing to a defense than having an offense run the ball down your throat. So we got to do a great job of stopping the run and, most importantly, tackling.
When my dad started Nature Stone right here in Northeast Ohio, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems: unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and always affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Get Nature Stone installed in your home by the end of May and get up to half off. Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today.
It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes. And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. We heard from Steve Wilkes, new defensive coordinator of the Browns. He is a guy who made his reputation in the NFL coaching the secondary, guys like Denzel Ward. Browns have a couple of really good young cornerbacks in Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams. And Denzel Ward, 4th overall pick last year, he's excited about being teamed up with Greedy Williams, the rookie from LSU.
Yeah, I was real excited about the pick of Greedy. Me and Greedy, we were actually talking before he got drafted, going through his draft process, getting together and training and everything. So it's just I had called him that night, just telling him how it's funny how life works, and he ended up getting drafted by the Browns, and we just had some talks and about being, like you said, being a tandem and just ready to get to work.
And what's the start of your relationship with him? What's the background on that?
What do you mean background?
Like you knew him and you were talking to him before the draft?
He had reached out to me on social media probably when he was going through training, like combine training and everything, about getting together and training and everything. So we were in talks before he had got drafted, and then ended up getting drafted, and we just stayed in communication.
How would you describe his playing style and what he can bring to an NFL field?
Yeah, he's a physical player. He has good footwork. Him, like all of us, got a lot of stuff we still got to work on. It's still early in the process, so we still just working. So a lot of work to do.
Steve Wilkes was talking to us earlier. He said that you need to improve your tackling technique. Kind of like what Greg Williams said last year. So what have you done on that, and do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. Like I said, it's always stuff people got to work on. I got my head in there a few times on plays that I shouldn't. I think I was just trying to be too physical at times and go up against guys that was 260. So I just got to get lower and just tackle a lot smarter if I do.
Does that come from used to being able to use your physicality, just your physical tools?
Yeah,
as a younger player?
Coming in college, guys are a lot smaller than they are in the NFL. So just got to be smart about my battles I pick.
Has there been a big technique change for you from year one to year two? Are you comfortable playing off-ball coverage?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it. But it was difficult coming in because obviously at Ohio State we played all press man-to-man, and coming here and playing off coverage, it was kind of a little difficult transition, not being able to, or not played it before. But I'm getting more comfortable with it, definitely.
How different do you think the scheme and technique will be under Steve Wilkes as opposed to last year?
I mean, there's still a lot of similarities. We're going to be playing a little bit more zone 2, it seems like, but it's nothing that we haven't done before, just a little bit more of it quantity-wise.
I know, Denzel, obviously you guys do whatever the coaches tell you to do, but when you do maybe have a coach who might want to play a little more zone, but maybe you have some corners who are really good at manning up and playing guys, how do you think you go about maybe finding that balance? And if you're talking to Steve and trying to figure out how to use your skills and what he likes to do.
And that's what I like a lot about this coaching staff. I feel that it is a balance so far. I feel last year we kind of got caught up in running a lot of the same things, a lot of man-to-man, maybe on some possessions where it was kind of overdoing it. But I feel this year has been a little bit balanced and being able to play man and zone. So I like to play zone as well, get vision on the football and make plays as well.
Denzel, the NFL is looking at how they view pass interference this year. There could be more reviews in the final 2 minutes of the half and the end of the game. How does that affect the approach of a cornerback?
I'm not sure. I still got to look more into the rule and everything, but I'm still going to just play my game.
When you got here last year, the team was coming off an 0-16 year, and now the team is all the talk among everyone around the country, it seems. How's that rolling around in your mind as the Browns went from 0-16 to great expectations?
Yeah, in my mind, I just like to take it day by day, not look too far ahead, not, like I said, look too far ahead. Just want to focus on today and practice and tomorrow and the next day. So I'm not really looking about what could be. I just want to focus on now and get better.
So obviously this happens with players a lot, but when you have a new coordinator coming in, just what's it like for you, wondering what Steve Wilkes is going to be like, what things he wants to do defensively, and then just so far what you know about Coach Wilkes, what have you thought?
Yeah, like I said, I like all the coaching staff that they brought in. I like Coach Wilkes. I feel like they got a balance right now of both man and zone, so I really appreciate that. I'm just still learning the playbook and seeing how it goes up against our guys in practice.
When Greedy was picked, a lot of people mentioned you guys could be a tandem like Dixon and Minifield. Have you ever heard of them, or have you ever met one of those guys?
Yeah, I heard them. I met them as well. That's definitely something that I envisioned with me and Greedy or whatever corner they put on the other side. But just being a tandem and being two guys that could lock down players on our sides of the field.
What are your thoughts about what Freddie brings as the head coach?
I like Freddie. I feel Freddie, he's a player's coach, someone who's we want to play for him. He's friendly, but he gets on us when we need to. So I like Freddie so far.
I know he hasn't been here a lot, but you thought a lot about covering Odell throughout training camp and the season and what that's going to be like and how that's going to help you get better?
Definitely. Covering him, Jarvis, and we still got other good receivers like Callaway and all those guys. I definitely look forward to going against Odell, though, specifically, and seeing what he brings to the table, and I feel he's going to get me ready for the games.
What you guys have done so far in OTAs, how much do you expect that you guys will be in nickel this year? A great deal of the time?
A little bit. I feel they want to get our best players on the field, so whatever package that is, that's who will be out there.
How are you feeling physically, Denzel? Are you completely 100% fine, or do you have to have any other treatments or anything? Are you good?
I'm 100% ready to go.
With the 2 concussions late last season in a short amount of time, did you think about your future health, or did you have any concern over that? Was it hard to wrestle with that?
Yeah, I'm a football player. I like to be physical. I like to go out there and play hard. So, like I said, I got to be smarter on the plays that when I'm going up against a player and making a tackle. So, just got to be more conscious of how I tackle and everything. But when I'm out there on the field, I'm playing ball. I'm giving my all.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
Welcome back to More Sports and Less. Levine, the special weekend winners edition, all encompassing on the Browns and OTAs. Well, the biggest area the Browns really need to improve on is the special teams. Quite honestly, last few years it hasn't been very good. They have a new special teams coordinator, Mike Priefer. He has a little bit different idea of what special teams should be and the importance that rookies can play on special teams.
I think Sheldrick Redwine's done a nice job. Mac Wilson's done a nice job. Taki, he's done a nice job. I like saying that name. You know, some of these college free agent guys have done a nice job. Willie Harvey's done a nice job, was one of our linebackers. And, you know, I don't like to really go in because I'm going to miss some players and they're probably going to be mad at me, but that's okay. They'll get over it. They're rookies. But at the end of the day, I think we are a really good class. We've got a good group. Our personnel people and coaches identified some really good football players, and I'm excited about our where we're at right now, and I'm excited about our progress.
Can you put a number on how many victories a really good special teams can contribute to your team, or conversely, how many a really bad special teams can cost your team?
Yeah, I don't know if there's an exact number per se, but we always talk about complementary football. It's offense helping defense, defense helping offense, special teams helping both offense, defense helping special teams. It's all about field position. It's all about opportunity. It's all about helping our football team be in the best position possible to help us win games. So, you know, is there a number of great special teams, bad special teams, and mediocre special teams? I'm not sure what that number is. I'm sure that's out there. You have to ask our analytical people. They're smarter than I am. But you know, we hope to be units are all 6 phases, including field goal and field goal block, that that help our team win a lot of games here, and that's the goal.
Just wondering if you watched some of the tape last year and thought, boy, this team could have won 2, maybe 3 more games if not for some.
You know, I don't like to criticize what they did in the past. I know that they weren't allowed to use some of the personnel that was necessary, and I think that starts with the head coach. And I know Freddie's done a great job of saying, hey, Priefer, whatever you need, and it's going to help you win. If you need starters on offense, starters on defense to help you on some of the phases, then use them. Use the backups where obviously your backups are going to be on everything. But to be honest with you, it starts with the head coach. And Freddie's done a great job giving us the time in all 3 phases we're a lot further ahead than I've ever been at some of the places I've been because of the time that the head coach has given us on special teams, and that's huge.
He said that at his very first press conference that he was going to do that, because we have seen in the past where it's okay, you guys have 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can't be lip service, and I know when I read that quote I started sweating, so now the pressure's on. So if he's going to give me the time now, we got to execute. So but that's fun. That's a great challenge. That's what I love about my job, and get to work with the whole team, and we get to benefit our football team and help our football team win a lot of games if we play well, and that's the goal.
So you just said that they weren't allowed to use some guys, the coaches?
I don't know if it looked like some of the better players on special teams were on the sideline in some of these plays, which I don't understand. I think at the end of the day, you have to put your best players out there, and sometimes your best players are starters on offense or defense. You might have to use a Christian Kirksey, you might have to use a Joe Sherbert, you might have to use Demarius Randall on some of the core special teams to help us win, and those guys have bought in, and they're going to be there if we need them to. I wouldn't use them a lot, that'd be dumb on my part, but because I want to win. It's not all about just special teams, it's about all offense, defense, and special teams. So if we can use some starters on some of these phases, great, and if we don't need them and we got good backups, then we won't need them.
When you talk about core special teamers, how many players make up your core?
I think your backup safeties, the 3rd and 4th, sometimes 5th safety, your 3rd, 4th, 5th wide receiver, your 4th, 5th, 6th linebackers, your 3rd, 4th, 5th corner, the 2nd and 3rd tight end, 2nd, 3rd running back, all those guys, your fullback. Those guys make up your core special teams players. So those are the guys, the group of people on game day. As you guys know, we only dress 46 players, so we're going to have to make sure all our players come from that group.
In your experiences, what are those conversations like with the head coach when you're trying to figure out, hey, can I use some of these guys for some snaps here on special teams? Are those difficult conversations? How do you make your case sometimes? If there are a couple starters you want to use at times, what's that like?
Well, the great thing is that our head coach it's not just lip service. He's already shown it in this early stages of us being together that he wants to do well on special teams. And we've had Nick Chubb on every drill. We don't put him out on the punt team, but in the first couple phases, he's been every meeting, even now. He's done all the drill work. Kareem Hunt's doing all the drill work. David Njoku's doing the drill work. I mean, these guys who are going to play a lot of offensive snaps for us. Denzel Ward's in every meeting on punt return. He's always ready for us if we need him to, because if I'm going to ask those guys to perform for us, I have to prepare them. That would not be fair to them if I didn't do that. So when the head coach says get them ready, I'm going to get them ready, and then if we need them, we need them. If not, then we'll get those backups ready to go.
Have you had times in your career where, maybe you're looking at the sidelines like, man, if I could put 2 or 3 of those guys on this unit, we'd be that much better?
Yeah, I mean,
frustrating?
it can be frustrating, but I don't let it frustrate anymore. I guess when I was younger and was a little bit more of a hothead, my daughter's over here, she can attest to that I'm a little bit of a hothead. But at the end of the day, it's like when I was in the Navy, you're given resources, you're given a job to do. Take those resources, get the job done. Same thing in coaching football. The resources are the players and the time that you have, okay? And it's my job to get those players ready. And if I can't use some guys, I can't use them. I got to move on. And I've got to understand the big picture. And usually, I think I do, that if a guy's banged up and we need him just on defense, well, he's only going to play defense. If a guy's banged up, we can only use him on offense, same thing. So at the end of the day, I'm going to use the guys that are available. When Freddie says these guys are available, use these guys. I got to get the job done. That's my job to do that.
We are all out of time on this edition of More Sports and Less. Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. Want to remind you, next week we will have coverage of the Mid-American Conference Baseball Tournament from here at Springer Stadium, where I've been all weekend. Coming up straight ahead, though, Bill Castrovince and I will bring you this edition of the High School Sports Insider.
Keep it simple.
Leaders lead. Leaders lead.
Let's go! Stop whining!
Again, go again, yes! You gotta rotate, go, Stone!
The High School Sports Insider is brought to you by Cuyahoga Community College, where futures begin. By the Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. By Spectrum News 1, always Ohio, always refreshing, always on, exclusively on Spectrum. By Dominion East Ohio, Dominion, it all starts here. And by Classic Teleproductions. June is closing in, the school year is finishing up, and spring sports are handing out their state championship hardware. We promise to finish the year up strong. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the High School Sports Insider. Along with Bill Castrovince, I'm Dave Bacon.
On today's show, we've got a high school baseball team that has some big-time and Big Ten talent. Plus, we'll meet the leader of the Polar Bears, a straight-A student who's always throwing things around, and some explorers who are on the path to the Final Four again.
We begin tonight in the circle with one of the best softball pitchers in all of Ohio, Allison Smith. Smith is only a junior. She led Champion to an undefeated state championship season last year as a sophomore and is back at it again. Smith is 38-1 in her career at Champion. She's trying to help the Golden Flashes three-peat as state softball champions. In the classroom, Smith is also a star. Allison Smith, our Cuyahoga Community College student athlete with a future. Cuyahoga Community College, where futures begin.
Things are going pretty good. I only have to throw half the games because we have another dominant pitcher too, so it's not like I ever have to worry or be concerned. It's kind of nice today. I just got to warm up and throw lately.
That might be the understatement of the year. Allison Smith has pitched over 90 innings this season and has allowed a total of 2 earned runs. The junior is 15-0 this year, following up a 16-0 sophomore season where she earned first-team All-State honors.
My rise ball is actually working really well. My curveball has been kind of off, but right now it's been more rise ball. I've been more working on speed of all those pitches, trying to increase the speed, and then my off speed. I just recently, with my travel ball coach, she taught me a new off speed pitch, so I've been trying to work on that, experimenting with it in games.
Champion has the luxury of having 2 quote aces in the circle. Smith and Sophie Howell. Both are juniors and Division I recruits. They alternate starts and are each other's biggest fans.
We both just can have so much confidence in each other, and it's just so nice that no matter what, we know that we'll have each other's backs, and I don't know, she's just amazing. It's really good.
This just makes the team even better to have to, and what's amazing is to be a smaller D3 school and to have 2 D1 pitchers the same grade and be able to do the things that they do. The team's blessed, the township's blessed to have players like them.
Smith has been committed to Ohio State since last year. She struck out over 190 batters this year in her 90-plus innings of work and has allowed opponents to hit just .82 against her this year. Allison is working hard to refine things she'll need to use to be a successful pitcher, like her approach to hitters.
I don't think inside-outside so much. I think my biggest problem is when I get up 0-2 or when I get 1-2, I leave the ball too close to the plate and then they end up getting a better hit than they should have because I didn't throw the curveball wide enough or I didn't throw the rise ball high enough. So we've been working on what I do 0-2.
Allison is Allison. You know, she works so hard. Her mom has her out there pitching all the time, and you'll hear from the stands pushing or her arm circle, and that's great. You know, Allison is one of those players. She wants to be the best player out there, and she does it. And we're very blessed to have Allison.
At the plate, Smith is also a threat. She's batting .500 from the leadoff spot and has hit a team-high 16 home runs on the season.
It's just fun. My dad calls it seeing watermelons. It's pretty nice because it's like you can't ever miss. And you just got to try and help everybody else on your team out because you might be seeing watermelons, but if they're not, you can't be like down their throat about, oh, I'm hitting so good and you're not. So you just got to make it fun for everyone even though you're doing good.
Meanwhile, there have been changes to the state baseball tournament this year. The state finals are held 1 week later than normal, and they'll be played at Canal Park in Akron. And Walsh Jesuit has the talent to get there. In fact, there are a lot of Warriors who could play at the next level as well. Here's Walsh Baseball, our team of the week. Walsh Jesuit has a reputation for getting baseball players to the next level, and the Warriors' secret weapon is their alumni.
Ever since I stepped foot on campus freshman year, I had the goal of playing Division I baseball, and freshman year with guys like Dom Canzone and Brendan Regan, you kind of got a taste of that.
The school does a great job of preparing us to be men for others. The seniors before us do a great job, like Dom Canzone, plays for Ohio State. Great guy, they set the way.
This year, Walsh has 2 players going to the Big Ten. Senior Nate Stahl is headed to Indiana, if he's not taken in the MLB draft first.
Coach Kazmar does a good job giving us looks and getting our names out to colleges, and he just does a really good job. And our history of being a good high school team also brings in a lot.
And Henry Kazmar has committed to Michigan as a freshman. Plus, for the first time, he gets to play for his dad and alongside his older brother.
Just a crazy experience for me. I mean, even though I'm a freshman, I feel like it's been such a long ride, and I feel like there's been so many people along my path that have helped me along my way. Ever since I remember, he's been, out there working on when I do throwdowns, tagging the guy out, and it's like hard to believe that it's now like happening in games, and it's just totally awesome.
All these years when they've been coming to the field when they were 6 to 8 to 10 and 12 years old being bat boys, I always look forward to this day and wondered what it would be like, and it's been, I don't know if dream is the right word for it, but it's just been special for me.
Chris Kazmar has been the head coach for 23 seasons. If he's around, Walsh will always be a contender.
Every year that I've been here, we've had multiple Division I players. So it's been awesome just every year, looking forward to it, thinking you have a shot at states, and I think we should make a pretty good run this year.
Besides the 2 Big Ten recruits, Yasir Kahuk is headed to Toledo, and Connor Bailey just made a commitment to Xavier. Good luck to all of them at the next level.
We're just getting things rolling on this week's show. When we return, we'll head to the track to meet our shining star and a polar bear trying to lead Jackson back to the promised land. High School Sports Insider will be right back.
I decided to go to Tri-C because it was easy to commute to. I was able to start Kent State as a junior. All my credits from Tri-C transferred to Kent State. I will be able to earn my bachelor's degree in 4 years. I saved a lot of money starting at Tri-C. My name is Stephanie Bain, and I earned my first degree at Cuyahoga Community College.
The High School Sports Insider rolls along. Thanks for riding shotgun with us. The Jackson Polar Bears have been among the top-ranked baseball teams in the state in Division I all season long, and Trey Wright is one of the main reasons why. Wright is a leader on and off the field for the Polar Bears, a Division I college baseball recruit and a four-year varsity player for the Polar Bears. He's their leadoff hitter. Last year as a junior, Trey Wright had 116 plate appearances, hit over .450, and struck out twice all season long. He's doing the same things again in his senior season. Trey Wright from Jackson High School, our Spectrum News 1 game breaker. He's listed at 5'8", 180 pounds. Not exactly prototypical size for a baseball player, but Jackson High School's Trey Wright definitely has the it factor. Wright is the type of player coaches love and teammates respect.
He's what every coach wants. He's a four-year guy for us. He's been up top. He's played behind some really good catchers, and he caught all year last year for us. And he's able to play with our lineup. We're able to really not beat up catchers and beat up arms, and that's a big deal for us early. And we're fortunate to have a couple pretty good catchers in our program. But he shows his versatility and his athleticism. He's able to play. He was second baseman on our state championship team. He's able to play a solid third base. He can hit the front of the order. He can be an RBI guy. He can be a table setter.
Wright was the starting second baseman on the Polar Bears' 2017 state championship team. He's a four-year varsity player who loves being part of what Jackson baseball has become.
It is awesome, and it definitely means a lot to me. And you see people, when you wear the hat around, people will kind of watch you and take an extra glance because they realize what that represents, and they realize it's a pretty big deal. And to have it be not just a one-time thing, be a tradition is just, it makes it that much better.
In his senior season, Wright moves behind the plate and carries on the tradition of very good catchers at Jackson. Trey was also the Polar Bears' starting quarterback in football, and he sees the two positions as having some carryover.
In the huddle, everybody's looking at you, and when you're playing on the field, everybody's got to looking at the catcher, so everybody's looking at you again. And it's kind of, you are quarterback in the defense, I guess, out here. And, it's good to be in charge and involved in everything. So you're getting every snap in football, and you're getting every pitch in baseball.
Wright also plays several positions in the infield this season and is the Polar Bears' leadoff hitter.
I like to at least give my guys a chance to see something in the dugout. If he's going to throw me a first pitch fastball, I might swing at it, but I'd rather give the hitters in the dugout something to see, because I know as a hitter personally, if I'm watching in the dugout, I want to see what he's got. So I try to get a few pitches here and there and then just get on and make something happen.
The things that people don't see maybe behind the scenes, his work ethic is exceptional. The way he trains, the way he takes care of his body, and I think that's where everybody has the utmost respect for him is the way he trains and the way he goes about his business.
Next year, Wright has accepted a baseball scholarship from the University of Toledo.
People were friendly. A few other places I'd been, they weren't too friendly. They were kind of, you're there for them rather than they're there for you. And so it just felt like a good friendly atmosphere, and that was kind of inviting. So they were nice to me, and you're going to have to be surrounded by those people all the time for the next 4 years, so they better be a good group of people.
He's exactly what every coach wants. I know Coach Me at Toledo is going to get an exceptional athlete and a guy that just knows the game really well and plays at a high rate of speed, sets the bar really for our team.
Every week, with the help of the Ohio Lottery, we honor high school students who excel in the classroom. Well, today we've got a straight-A student who also plays two sports. And East Palestine's Julia Mixon gives her best effort in everything she does. Today, we honor Julia Mixon as our Ohio Lottery Partners in Education Shining Star. Julia Mixon is an athlete who doesn't need an adversary. Her toughest opponent is herself.
It's not mainly getting first place, it's mainly beating your PR or achieving your first goal and then making another goal for yourself. I like the idea of always pushing myself.
The junior from East Palestine is a rising star in the discus and the shot put, and she'll be the first to tell you she's not doing it by herself.
Well, I couldn't do it without my coaches because I feel like my coaches helped me the most. I also like that my teammates, they critique me as well. So like I critique them, they critique me, so we help each other out.
Mixon is competitive on the court too. Julia made the varsity basketball team as a freshman, and she kept getting better and better. This winter, she was named first team all-conference and first team all-county.
She still has a lot more work to do, so we don't want her to be satisfied where she's at. But, she was very happy and surprised to be, first team all-county in our league this year.
In the classroom, Julia can't be beat. She has been a 4.0 student since day one.
Honestly, I would never know she plays all those sports because she works hard no matter what she's doing. If she's, been late nights, doesn't matter. Her work ethic's still the same the next day.
She will ask questions if she doesn't understand something or if she wants further consultation with something. She's not afraid to ask any of her teachers for help. So she does look for perfection.
Mixon is a member of the National Honor Society, Student Council, and the president of her class. Her goal was to be a role model for her two younger sisters, but she's become a shining star for everyone.
It doesn't matter your background, that you can push through anything and you can be a role model for the people that need it. Like people are going through a rough time, and when they look at you, that you're giving them hope.
If you know a student who shines in the classroom like Julia, go to OhioLottery.com. Look for the About section. In there, you'll find the Supporting Education tab, which has all the information you need. So send in a nomination today.
If you missed some of today's show or want to see past episodes, they're online and free. What a deal I know. Head to citybeat-tv.com. That's citybeat-tv.com.
Still to come, we'll head to Hudson for a dose of LAX. And our Insider Classic has taken the MAC by storm. Stay tuned.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. Thanks for hanging with us on this edition of the High School Sports Insider. Great players and teams are never satisfied with what they've done. Over at Hudson High School, the girls lacrosse team has made it to the state Final Four 2 of the last 3 years. They are trying to push themselves to break through and not only get to the championship game, but win it. Lofty goals for sure, but the goal is what Hudson is aiming for. We have an all-access look at Hudson's girls lacrosse team. Complete, versatile, well-balanced. All would be accurate ways to describe Hudson's girls lacrosse team this season. The bottom line, the Explorers do everything on the field pretty well.
We definitely connect really well with each other, passing it quickly up the field. No one's usually taking ISO drives. It's a lot of goals with assists on it. We're just moving it quickly. We have some beautiful shots. Some of our girls have amazing stick work and turn it into beautiful shots. I love seeing that.
We know how everyone can contribute in their own way. So I feel like now that we can piece those all together, then we know how to everyone plays, so we can play as a team.
Hudson has a nice mix of veterans who have been to the state semifinals 2 of the last 3 years and youth. The team has seemed to put everything together late in the season.
They just have a lot of drive, they have a lot of chemistry, and a lot of skill build up. They're working hard well before we ever see them, and it's just nice to be able to fine-tune details at that point.
We're seeing a lot of positivity. When we score, we go crazy. When defense makes a turnover, it's awesome. We also have a lot more confidence and catching in the midfield, and our passes are crisper. When we get nervous and flustered, our passes are crazy, either super high or super low. But then when we have confidence, they're good passes.
The Explorers have shown a strong defense led by goalkeeper Addie Judson and an offense that has a number of scoring weapons.
It makes everyone a threat. It makes their defense have to do things because there's a lot of teams who just some defenders have to just lay off because it's only a few girls are a big threat to the goal. But for us, everyone is able to pass, catch, shoot, drive, and that's just really good for us.
This team is focused on pushing itself all season, as evidenced by its tough schedule that's included 4 games against the state's top 10 teams.
Our team word this year is strive, always striving for something. You know, I'll ask the girls before a game or before practice, what are you striving for today? You know, some girls give me an answer, sometimes it's a team chime-in, like they rehearsed it. And I think this year we're striving toward the state finals. Complacency is the death of any team, you know, and always being better. You know, I try to remind our girls, all right, you now mastered something that I've been preaching since day one. Now you have a new goal.
Let's fire up the Wayback Machine for this week's Insider Classic. 3 years ago, we met Andrea Scally, a dominant softball pitcher who was just a junior at Parma. Well, today Scally is taking over the Mid-American Conference. As a redshirt freshman at Kent State, Andrea was named the MAC Pitcher of the Year and the Freshman of the Year. She also made school history with 2 no-hitters and a perfect game. But let's go back to 2016 as Andrea Scally becomes an Insider Classic. Andrea Scally is magnificent on the mound. Standing tall at 5'11", she is an ace you do not want to face.
I don't know, I like sitting them down and just like, I win, you know what I mean? It's like a competitive, like, I want to win, so I'm going to win this at bat and I'm going to get you out.
And Scally does it by throwing 6 different pitches, topping out at 65 miles an hour. And she's only a junior.
I think she's just gotten to the point where she stops worrying about who we're playing or what we're doing or who's up to bat and what they did off her last time. I think it's just, I'm going to get this girl. Right now, whoever it is, it doesn't matter.
You really have to track the ball all the way in, right from her hand to where it comes in, because you don't know how fast it's going to come out, you don't know how slow it's going to come out. Her changeup can drop a solid 10 miles per hour off of it.
Andrea threw 3 no-hitters for Parma this year, and last summer, she traveled the country as she led Cleveland to the RBI Softball World Series trophy.
We played a team from Hawaii, there was teams from Texas, all over the country, and it was so cool like meeting the Hawaiian girls because we were like, okay, well this is what you do, and then there's us, and it's just so different, and like everyone came together and was like all just really good friends.
Her next stop is summer ball. Then, Scally will resume her quest to make Parma history by earning 12 varsity letters.
Freshman year, like I didn't know if I was going to make varsity volleyball, but then when I did, I was like, okay, well now I'm going to make varsity basketball. And I was just like, okay, well I want 12 letters, and I've actually started all 4 years so far.
Andrea Scally has already achieved one of her big goals. She has a softball scholarship to Kent State, and she has done it with a 3.8 GPA and plenty of Ks along the way.
I don't know, I've always been good at sports, and like it's always been my goal to like go to college on an athletic scholarship, but then at the same time it's like you have to be smart, you can't be an idiot and like go to college, so I've always focused on my grades.
We want you to get more involved in the show, and you can through social media. Follow us on Twitter. We're at HS Sports Insider and at Dave Bacon Sports. Tweet us your story ideas or pictures or video showing your school spirit, and we'll use them in a future show. We're still plugging away on Facebook as well. Head to our page and like us. We're at High School Sports Insider.
And you love them. The tweets of the week are coming up next, so stick around.
The best thing Tri-C did for me was give me opportunities. The workforce program prepared me for the career I have now. I got a job in the aerospace industry where I work on CNC machines. I have 3 younger brothers. I want to teach my brothers, you know, hard work actually pays off. Come to Tri-C. It's a great stepping stone to wherever you're trying to get to in life. My name is Chris Grooms, and I got my start at Tri-C.
Welcome back inside the High School Sports Insider. For the first 25 minutes or so of the show, we've told you what we think is important. Now it's your turn to let us know what's important to you. There are a few rules. You have to use 280 characters or less. Pictures or video, even better. It's time for the tweets of the week. The Browns' Myles Garrett was at Elliott High School when they broke ground on a new turf field. After that, he posed with the girls' soccer team. The Cleveland Browns Foundation funded the new turf project. It's the Brecksville Broadview Heights High School Physics Cardboard Regatta. The students were rowing their boat on the last day of school. And 11th inning scoreless playoff game. Upper Arlington's Sammy Sass plays hero. A shot down the left field line. Fair ball. Daniel Jaskett scores. The Golden Bears win 1-0 in 11 innings to keep their season alive. Keep those tweets coming. We want your story ideas or pictures or video showing your school spirit. Tweet those to us. We're at HS Sports Insider or at Dave Bacon Sports. Use hashtag HSSI Ohio. Again, that's at HS Sports Insider or at Dave Bacon Sports. Use hashtag HSSI Ohio. We'll use a few of them on upcoming shows as the tweets of the week. Unfortunately, we are all out of time on this week's show, but before we go, we want to thank you for taking the time to join us. We hope to see you back here next week, same time, same place. When again, we'll have some of the best high school sports stories from all across Ohio.
And as always, thanks for supporting high school athletics. Have a great night.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.